Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Darcy from Ladies First, where we celebrate and empower women through the lens of cinema. Here we highlight films that feature strong female characters, explore women's journeys, and break down the stories that inspire us. Today, we're turning the spotlight on a different kind of heroine, one whose strength may not roar, but still speaks volumes. In the 2001 film Snow White, directed by Caroline Thompson, we meet a version of this classic character who quietly redefines what it means to be powerful. She's not a sword-wielding warrior or a rebel storming palaces, but in her gentleness, resilience, and quiet refusal to give in, we catch a rare and beautiful glimpse of strength in a classic tale. But what makes Snow White such a standout character in terms of empowerment? How does she navigate a world that constantly tries to diminish her light? And what does her journey teach us about the strength of staying true to oneself in the face of adversity? Let's find out. Snow White in this version is not just a passive beauty waiting to be saved. From the very beginning, she's someone whose inner light subtly resists the darkness around her. Born into tragedy after losing her mother at birth and raised by a father whose grief makes him vulnerable to manipulation, Snow White enters a world that does not exactly welcome her. But even as her life becomes entangled with cruelty and jealousy, most especially from her stepmother, Snow White never hardens her heart. What makes this Snow White compelling isn't that she breaks the mold by being outwardly rebellious or fierce. It's that she stays soft in a world that tries to make her small. Her strength lies in her emotional endurance. Where others become bitter or obsessed with power, Snow White holds on to her sense of self, even when everything is taken from her. Her home, her safety, her place in the world. There's power in the way she continues to love, trust, and care. When she is cast out and finds the dwarfs, she doesn't see them as odd or beneath her. Instead, she builds genuine relationships with them. She respects them, learns from them, and lets herself be part of their world. She doesn't seek control, she seeks connection. That, in itself, is a radical choice in a story often defined by hierarchy and vanity. One of the strongest aspects of her character is how she responds to betrayal. When someone you've trusted your entire life turns against you, it's easy to become cold or guarded. But Snow White never stops believing that love and kindness matter. Even when she's hunted down, even when her trust is shattered, she remains compassionate. She doesn't mirror the cruelty she's received, and that takes a different kind of courage. This version of Snow White also subtly challenges the idea that beauty is her only value. Yes, she's beautiful, but it's her heart, her hope, and her humility that shine through the most. Her beauty becomes a burden in this world, a source of envy and danger, but she never uses it to her advantage. Instead, she lets her actions speak for her. She shows that real power isn't about being the fairest of them all. It's about staying true to yourself, even when the world punishes you for it. And when she finally faces her greatest test, the moment she's tricked and poisoned, she's not saved because she's helpless. She's saved because people love her deeply and truly. Her life is restored, not just by magic, but by the bonds she created, the kindness she offered, and the courage she quietly carried. That kind of legacy is more powerful than any throne or mirror. So why does this Snow White stand out when we talk about women empowerment? Because she represents the kind of strength that often goes unnoticed. Not every empowered woman has to be loud or aggressive. Some lead with empathy. Some inspire with grace. Some, like this Snow White, remind us that dignity, softness, and emotional honesty are not weaknesses. They're just another form of power. She never tries to outshine anyone. She simply shines in her own quiet way. And in doing so, she changes the world around her. That's the glimpse of strength this film offers us. A reminder that the most beautiful form of power is the kind that doesn't need to shout to be heard. What do you think this version of Snow White? Do you see her as an empowering figure in her own quiet, gentle way? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If this take on a classic tale moved you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join me again as we keep exploring the power and complexity of women in film. Again, this is Darcy from Ladies First, reminding you that strength wears many faces. Sometimes it even wears a crown of kindness.